Hey everybody, welcome to another video. I'm coming this week to do a technical analysis breakdown for the week, okay? So last week the markets moved pretty decent. We were able to get in some good pips. I sent out some early weekly analysis for the students, and yeah, so a lot of students were very profitable last week, and hopefully hoping to make it a good profitable week this week. Now, markets at they're at a few structural levels, a few structural trend line levels as well. So we're just going to see how the market moves this week. So let's look at the DXY. So last week, interest rates came out, and there was a small increase in the interest rates. However, the interest rate have just, ever since they've been coming out, even though they've been pretty decent and pretty good for the U.S. economy, price has still been going down, and we're still bearish overall. Now, last week when I talked about the DXY, I talked about this strong consolidation zone that we're in right here. And as you can see, when the rates came out on Wednesday, price did react bearish to the news, and it was quite interesting to see. So if you see here, let me zoom in. Here's that consolidation that I talked about earlier last week. And when the rates came out, the dollar just plummeted. So it wasn't really that great. And this is why I teach students to understand technical analysis. You have to understand that price is going to put you in the trade first. Fundamentals push the news, but you cannot always rely on fundamentals. There's always manipulation. So if we had a spike in interest rates that went higher, but our dollar fell, someone is lying. Or either there's something else going on in the economy that we're just not seeing. So that's why it's always important to understand that sometimes technicals will rule first. There are times when fundamentals rule, but in this case, technicals ruled. So if we look here, we are meeting a barrier, okay? We're meeting a barrier, meaning price is gonna have to break below this previous low before we continue to go lower. Because as you can see, although we were in consolidation and we did break, this can be considered a higher low. And because we create a higher high here, which means we need to break this area before continuing to go lower. And if we can break this area, my gosh, dollar could actually plummet down to this next structural level, okay? Because it seems like we're having a hard time meeting this trend line again, okay? We have this descending trend line going down, this is resisting trend line, and we're having a hard time meeting it. So following next week, I'm paying attention to this area right here on the dollar. I am going to sit, I'm going to actually take this off because this serves no purpose anymore. And I'm going to take this off because it serves no purpose anymore. Because here's how I'm looking at this. If we get a bounce from this area, this could be a double bottom, okay? And we could come back up into previous resistance, which is right here. And then we can also come back to probably meet this trend line. Now, if we do break below this barrier, and hopefully we do break below this barrier, we could come and actually come back down to meet this area right here, this support area right here. Now, going up to our higher time frames, I want you all to pay attention to this weekly time frame and look at what the candles are producing. We have a lot of indecision going on, and then we have this candle that can serve as a confirmation candle, meaning, hey, next week you may want to look for some bearish opportunities, okay? And so that is something that I am paying attention to for the moment. And so, yeah, so if we get a nice rollover into next week, this could really be a good sign that price could be falling for the moment, okay? So let's look at something else, because there's another area I want to look at here that price could potentially come back to meet. And I've talked about this trend line in the past. I've talked about it in the past. I just want the outer trend lines, okay? If I have to have something meet, we have one touch, two touches. This could be a third touch coming into this area if it can break below our supporting level, okay? And if that's the case, this trend line can still play as a very significant, major, important area, and that's something that we're going to be waiting on to see, okay? So that's about it for the dollar. Either we're going to come back up to meet this trend line here, because we put in a lower low, and you all know what happens after a lower low. We have to put in a lower high. This could be the lower high, but we don't know quite yet. So we are going to have to see. There's just a lot of indecision here, and we've been stuck here for quite some time, okay? So we've been ranging. We've been ranging. So we'll see what happens. All right. Now let's head over to the major currency pairs. These pairs really, really move. Looking at AU from the weekly time frame, you can see that we put in what looks to be a double top. But let me divert your attention to the monthly time frame for a quick second. Now, I talked to the students at the very beginning of this month. I said, you all, this is a major level up here. And if you look, you can tell because we have a lot of support, resistance, even in this area, although it's not touching, we have a lot of resistance in that area. We have support and we have resistance. You can tell support because of this wick. We have resistance, resistance, resistance. And if you look here, we reject this level and we put in a bearish candle, okay, a bearish engulfing candle. To me, it's not a bearish engulfing candle, but to some people it may be. So I have to understand that. So this is quite subjective, okay. Nonetheless, it is a strong bearish candle. And I told them, hey, we could have some bearish momentum. And I let them know that at the beginning of the month. And lo and behold, we have bearish momentum. And this is one of technicals rules as well. Sometimes it's good to glance at the higher time frames every once in a while, you all. So don't be afraid of those higher time frames like people like to make you feel. You can actually develop techniques to trade these areas, right, where you're not entering on these time frames, but you understand how to include these time frames. And this is something that I teach the students, okay? Going down to our weekly time frame, you can see the double top very, very, very clear. Okay, you might as well say it's a triple top. You might as well say this is the double top. We came again. This is the triple top here because we've touched this point level multiple times. Okay, now as you can see, beginning of the end of January, we put in this bearish candle. We coming back and we're meeting support. All right, and we just been straggling along here, you all. So this is a huge consolidation zone, and we just keep meeting this area. For some reason, price likes this area, but next week and probably the week after is gonna, have to display what it wants to do. This week we close as a doji. Okay, now here's what I'm thinking. We could continue lower, you all. We possibly could continue lower. And we're gonna go down to the higher time frames to look at what that looks like. However, looking at this candle and then looking at this doji, it may not surprise me if we have a bullish candle after this and we get a bullish reversal because we're coming back to meet this area once again, a consolidation. And this could be the last kiss of it, you all. Like the guy who wrote Naked Forex, he talks about this. This could very well be the last kiss based on the higher time frame, but we don't know that quite yet. So we'll have to see about that. Okay. However, we could still have bearish momentum. And let me drop this trend line back on. I've had this trend line drawn for quite some time, and let's look at this third trend line bounce here. So if we draw our levels correctly, you can see that we've had this bounce 3 times already off of this trend line, right? And we could very much well be trying to put in another bounce. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 bounces. Price could still come back to this lower bounce here. Okay, that is a possibility. That is a possibility. As you can see, we're rejecting this 77,500 level, and if we reject this and we come back down, that could be the 4th bounce or the break, and we could see if AU is going to gain this strength or, it's a weakness. So we have to see. Let's go down to our lower time frames. Now, going down to our lower time frames, you can see price a little bit better. You can see how it's reacted towards that level. It's not been able to sustain that level. Okay, and if I pull out a Fibonacci, do we have a 27 completion? We do not have a completion just yet. Okay, as you all can see from the high to the low, and we rejected the 50% retracement, you can see that the 0 has been taken out. We've rejected the 0 to the other side, and we've passed this wick. We're rejecting this wick. You could tell by this candle right here, and we have approximately 40 more pips until target is reached. So we're just sitting on our hands. There's pretty much nothing we can do right now. So we kind of just have to sit on our hands and see what we want to do now. Even if you bought another fill from here to here, you can see that there is another target as well that's right under it. Okay, and I mean they're pretty much close to each other. They're probably what, 15 pips apart, 20 pips apart. Well, 20 pips apart. So we just have to wait and see what happens. We just been putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower lows, lower low. So next week we just have to see what happens. Either we're gonna in the opening or Monday hit the targets or we're not. So we just have to see. And then going down to our next time frame, as you can see here, how it looks on the 4 hour. Okay, on the 4 hour, it's a little bit more better to see because this is just a different way I do my time frames, you all. That's just me personally. Just to, get a better clue into what price it's doing and what it wants to do, okay? Now, as you all can see, we already did the 77,500 level, like I talked about just a few minutes ago, and we're just making our way down, right? So we just have to wait and see what's about to happen. Yeah, this is just a patient game, and if you're in this trade, kudos to you. Hopefully it hits your targets, okay? So let's go to EU, and we're going to start at the monthly time frame as well really quick. Monthly was a bearish engulfing candle, but I told the students this wasn't a candle to worry about too much. The only thing you have to worry about were the 2 wicks right here because they're rejecting our level right here. That was probably the only thing you would have had to worry about, but it wasn't a strong candle that said, sell me long term. So that wasn't something that I concerned my students with. Then when we went to the weekly charts, we looked at it again and I said, hey, we have this well, I don't think I went to the weekly chart with them on this. I think we just stuck to the monthly. But we did recognize that we are ranging, we're in consolidation, and we're still trapping consolidation. You can tell by the wicks here at the top, and then you can tell by the wicks here at the bottom. Drop it down to our daily time frame, you can see even more. We are trapped in consolidation. If I were to draw a box, you can see it there clearly, correct? And we're still trapped, so there's no need to go any further. Now, looking at price in this area right here, I've been mentioning this area for the past week or two, and this is a stubborn area, okay? This trend line has been stubborn, 1.22600 has been stubborn, and we're stuck in this weird consolidation range. And what I've been teaching the students is this: you have to learn to trade consolidation. You got to learn to take quicker day trades or intraday trades when trading consolidation. And that's something that we talk about in the course and in the personal chat. Okay, so you just have to learn how to maneuver through these situations. This is a different market condition. This is not a trending condition. So when conditions change, you have to learn how to trade these. Okay, now dropping down to the 4 hour. All right, let's just focus on this area for now. So this is the area that price has been tapping off of. And I remember telling the students this when I set up the technical analysis, the daily analysis. I said, hey, if price cannot break this level, if it's looking like a retest, if it cannot break this level, guess what? Guess what's about to happen? We are possibly going to be coming back up to this trend line, and lo and behold, we made it back up to the trend line. Okay, and if you're one of those students who took the analysis and you use it in confluence with what you have, you made some money, right? So this is what we've been dealing with, you all, and it's been going fairly well. It's been going really well. And since we're bullish, one thing that I teach the students is this: you have to learn to stick with the overall trend. Sometimes you can take those counter trend trade movements, but understand that counter trend trading is always dangerous. I don't always want my students to get hooked on counter trend trading. There is a time to counter trend trade. You just have to know when to counter trend trade. Okay, so if you look here, what price is doing at the moment? I'm paying attention to this trend line. Now I've adjusted it from it being at this wick to it now being at this wick here. Reason being is because we have the rejection here that we just got previously, and you can see that we're coming right back up here. And depending on how this red, what we do here, we could be falling back from this trend line yet again. And if that's the case, yeah, we just have to sit in our hands and wait to see if we're going to come back to this trend line, to this level again, or if we're going to actually break. So as you can see, we're actually in another period of consolidation too. If I were just to draw a line here, boop, 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 boop. Okay, so we're actually in another period of consolidation while being in an overall period of consolidation. Okay, so yeah, and sometimes that happens, consolidation and consolidation. All right, and I did have an advanced pattern drawn in here, and it's still relevant. It's still relevant, but not for me at the moment. I'm just gonna do something different here. And for the students who seen that previous analysis, if you understand advanced patterns, then you know what I had on there. So that's about it for EU. Either we're going to break or we're not going to break. And we just have to sit on our hands and see what we do from here. So GU has been a money maker. It was a great money maker last week. I mean, that thing just performed amazingly. It was just it was just awesome. It was just awesome. Okay. So focusing our attention to the monthly candle. And the reason I'm doing the monthly candle, you all, is because this is the last week of the month. Next week will be a new month. So that's why I'm focusing your attention on these monthly candles this week. Okay, because guess what? We're about to get a new candle, right? So I told the students about this candle here. Told them, hey, there's nothing to worry about with this candle here. It's just a bearish candle, but it's nothing to make you worry. It's nothing to make you worry. It's not a strong bearish candle. So let's go down to our weekly time frame. As you all can see, we've been rolling over quite nicely. We came back into our zone here, and we just been rolling up nicely. So I'm hoping that we can come back up into the 1.43500 level, dropping down to the daily time frame. Oh yeah, you can see how we just rolled over nicely. We made this pin bar on a daily time frame, signaling, hey, we may be reversing, and lo and behold, we started to reverse. Okay. Yeah, so we're coming back into this area here, and we have this bullish candle. Hopefully we could keep rolling over into these previous highs here. And if that's the case, maybe these highs can be taken out. I don't know. We just have to come and wait and see what happens. Okay, drop it down to our 4 hour. You can see how we reacted quite nicely. There was a trend line that I had drawn here, and it got broken. I put out analysis about how we needed to pull back into this trend line, and then we got it. Unfortunately, I was not able to get involved into this trade because I was asleep when my candle ended up forming, and it hit targets fairly well. So there was no drawdown. I mean, targets got hit fairly well. Then we rolled over nicely. We were able to capitalize off of this move coming up here. Targets got hit fairly well as well. It was a pain-free trade. So now what I'm looking at coming into next week is this. As long as we can stay above this 1.4500 level, I'm thinking we're going to come up to meet 1.4300 level. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at as far as a small intraday trade goes. As far as a stronger as far as overall sentiment, I'm looking for this to be taken out first before I put on any more swing positions. So that's what I'm looking at so far. Okay. So that's it for pound USD. I don't really see things that tells me to be bearish just quite yet. So that's what I'm looking at. Now let's look at New Zealand dollar really quick. Let me take these lines off. Okay. So on New Zealand dollar, quite a mess here. All right. You can see that we've been hitting structure quite a lot, y'all. We've really been hitting structure quite a lot. And it's kind of hard to say what's going on here. It just seems like a bunch of mess. There's just a bunch of mess here. And I'm really wanting to be careful. Depending on how this candle close, this candle could close as a doji. It could close as a doji, right? And we know that dojis means that there's indecision in the market. The market doesn't know where it wants to go. So that's how we could be closing, all right? And so I'm just going to be paying attention to that this week. Not going to really be trying to move too quick here. When it comes to New Zealand dollar, I just like to trade New Zealand dollar as an intraday kind of pair, because New Zealand dollar, it doesn't really move well with the DXY. So there's really no way to gauge it but through technicals. And that's just me personally, okay? Looking at the weekly time frame, you could tell there's not really much movement going on here at all. If I go down to my daily time frame, you can see that we're also in consolidation. We're just in consolidation, right? So there's not really much going on. And the reason there is a doji on the monthly is because of consolidation, right? So what I'm looking at is just to either, if it breaks below this level here, I'm going to sell it back down to the support area. Okay, I'm just going to tell you guys that now. But if it breaks above this trend line, I'm going to sell it back into the previous resistance area. Looking at my 4 hour, I mean, it's quite the same. And the way I trade is that my levels have to line up. My levels have to line up, you all. And I strategically trade. I trade a bit different than a lot of people that I know. So I may explain it somewhat in the future, the way I have my levels set, why I have them set the way I said, why I do what I do. But not right now, because this is something that's new and I'm not giving this away just quite yet. So this is something that, yeah, you're gonna have to wait and see what I do, why I do what I do. Yeah, but but it works. Everything lines up. So if you look here, we rejected this area here. Okay, we broke through, but there was no retest from the other side. We came back and actually retested from the other side. Now, coming into Sunday and Monday, I don't trade Sundays. Mondays, I'll trade after the market settles out. I'll trade probably around, I'll be looking for a setup around after 5, maybe late that evening, early morning, going into Tuesday. There has to be a really good setup for me to get in on a Monday. Now, we can perform some kind of bullish momentum, some kind of higher low. I'll be looking to get in a trade. But like I said, I don't really look for trades on the opening only because of the spreads. And sometimes the market creates false moves. So I'm going to sit on my hands for this one. So if we can pop back above this trend line, we can possibly take out this trend line and then possibly take it out, go back up to this previous resistance level like I was talking about earlier. And like I said, everything I do lines up. So yeah. Now, if we break below this area here and we retest from the other side this time, like we were supposed to here, but market's not perfect, then I'll be looking to take it down to our next support level. Okay, so that's it for NU. Going into UCAD. Now, UCAD has shocked me quite a bit. We were in this strong bullish move, right? And well, technically we are still in a strong bullish move. Look at the 4 hour, no structure has been broken, but let me divert your attention to this higher time frame, okay? So looking at this higher time frame, you can see that we are in a pattern here, okay? We're in a pattern here, right? And this candle is going to be a tell-all, okay? If this candle can close like this as a rejection candle, what I'm going to want to see is if we're going to be rolling over to create new lower lows. Because as you know about rejection candles, price can still come back up and test this wick on a lower time frame, but the rejection means that this could be the lower high. Now, as you know, when I talk about trend lines or any type of levels, price doesn't always come to meet those levels exactly. So you have to kind of take price as it is when it's showing you stuff, okay? Going down to the weekly, there's nothing much to see on the weekly. Going down to the daily time frame, okay, we've hit an important area here. If I divert your attention to the left, look at all of this structure that we're in. We're in a lot of structure, okay? So price can do a few things. Price can come up to touch this trend line still. I'm not ruling that out yet because as you see, we're back at structure, okay? We're back at structure. And we just have to see what we're going to do here next week, you all. This is a very important area. It's very, very critical. Very, very, very critical. Okay. And we could get a roll over off of this level here. So I may be more interested in the daily time frame based on the CAD, the dollar CAD going into next week rather than the lower time frames. If I look at my lower time frames and I look left, okay, look at this consolidation now. Now look at it. But then now look at how we're actually inside that area. Okay. So if I want to get involved into a buy, and this level is quite tight. This is a very, very tight area, which this is a place I'm not looking to take trades in. I'm not looking to take trades here, you all. So if we do test it from the other side and continue up, this would have to be broken first. That's got to be broken first before I look for buys. However, if we do not break that area and we stay below 1.2900, guess what? I'm taking trades back down to my support area. But that's just me personally. That's just me personally. Okay, because this is how I'm seeing the market. But this is very an interesting area, but I'm still going to be looking at the daily time frame a little bit more because we're still in that uptrend right now. Until this area here breaks, I'm still looking for buys, you all, right? Because that's just the way I have to look at it. I have to trade structure. But also, structure tells me that we could be rejecting this level and roll over. So this is a time when you have to learn how to be neutral and sit on your hands. You have to just say, hey, you know what? I don't have a bias right now, because my bias cancel each other out. Meaning it could do either or at this exact moment. So I have to sit on my hands and understand I gotta let the market do what it's gonna do. There are times when you can't trade at all because of stuff like that. You just gotta wait and see what happens. Okay. So following our last pair is UJ. Now I do dollar Swiss. Now let's go to the monthly time frame on dollar Swiss. All right. If you look here on dollar Swiss actually came up and we came into a level, right? As you can see, we have structure here. And right now we could be closing as a doji. It just depends. We have one more week left, so I don't want to say too much, but we just have to look and see what happens, right? If you look here from the previous week, we put in a doji, or it's a doji, but then there's confirmation here. This is to me, this is a rejection to this area here, because we're also in structure, as you all can see. We have resistance. Okay, so we're in structure. So if that's the case, price is about to roll back over, and that's what I'm here for. Dropping down to my daily time frame, you see that we have a bearish engulfing candle. Okay, dropping down to my 4 hour, you can see that now we are sitting on structure as well. If I go to my left, you can see the structure that I'm talking about: resistance, support. This could be support or resistance. Okay, so we just kind of have to wait and see. If we can break back down this 0.94500 level, I'm going to take price back down, and this is something that I may actually be looking to hold. Okay, that's just me personally based off of what I see, because if we look to our daily time frame, I have no reason to want to get out of this pair so quick. So I'm going to be looking for multiple targets going down. All right. However, if we break above this level, then I'll be looking for buys. So even if I drop down to this time frame, if we stay above the 0.94500 level, I have to keep looking for buys, okay? Because that's what price tells me to do. You don't go against price, you don't go against the market, you trade what the market tells you, okay? And that's what the market is telling me. I have to look for buys, okay? If it stays above that level, if it breaks below that level and resets to the other side, then I have to look for sales, and that's just what it is. Okay, so last pair for real this time, UJ. Now UJ has been the one that's been getting a lot of people. Now I'm going to show you how it's been getting a lot of people. Okay, so I showed the students this about the previous, this beginning of this month. I said you got to look at this candle. We are breaking consolidation. We were trapped in the range for quite some time, and as you can see, we finally broke through. There was a strong bearish candle, and lo and behold, we came and we met this area, and now it looks like we're breaking this area, and we could be heading back down. Okay, so going down to our weekly time frame, you can see that we were stuck as well. And look at this candle, you guys. This candle broke consolidation fully. We got stuck in another price range. Looking at the daily time frame, you can see that we fully broken our 105.550 level. I was talking about this level so much last week and the week before. I was like, you guys, I honestly believe that, that's a strong level. We're going to break this level. We're going to break this level. This is my target. This is my area. I'm looking for this level, this level, this level, this level. I've seen a lot of people buying here. So many people went long here, okay? Were they wrong in hindsight? Yes. But actually, no, because they stuck to their rules. I don't care who you are. If you stick to your rules and you follow your rules, you cannot be upset. You cannot be mad if you lose your trade. You can't even be mad if you put students in that trade. Here's why. You have to stick to your rules. Stick to your biases, okay? As long as you follow your rules, the market's going to do what it's going to do once you enter into that trade. There is nothing you can do about it. You got to stick to your rules, okay? But yeah, I've seen a lot of people, because price wasn't breaking here. But here's what I always think. Price does it a lot. It wasn't breaking here. Okay. It had a hard, let's see. Let's find some other places where that could have happened as well. Okay, here's a good example. We went up, but we never came back into this area. We put in lower highs, but I've seen people buy here for the long term because they felt, hey, this is a lower high, this is a lower high, this is a double bottom. We're gonna buy here, and we're buying for long term. And I've seen a lot of people do that, and a lot of people get stopped out. Okay, people were buying here in this area for a long term, and they got stopped out. People bought here for the long term, and they got stopped out. Right? I've seen people do that. I'm a structured trader, so I don't project any long terms until structure breaks. That's just me. And the way I seen this market was, if the price can't break this area, I'm not looking for buys. I'm not. And my students know I didn't do that. I kept looking for sales, and I put them in sales situations as well. And no, we're looking for overall sales, overall sales, overall sales, overall sales. And guess what? They were looking for overall sales as well. Their analysis was on point. I couldn't even complain. I loved everything about it. One of my students said, hey, Shaquan, last week I did 6 trades. I won 5 out of 6. Proud of her. Extremely proud of her. Okay? So that was just beautiful. That was just freaking amazing, freaking awesome, beautiful. Okay? As you can see, we're breaking consolidation. Now, if we keeping this downward move, you all, I'm thinking we're coming to 101 500 level. Let me divert your attention there. Look at the structure in this area, okay? Don't worry about this, we'll get there. But let's look left more. Look here. This is why. This is strong. This is why I want this level. This is why I want this area. Okay? That could work. That could be the next level. It's right down to our 4-hour. If you look here on our 4-hour, you guys can see this consolidation zone that we were playing. And I had this drawn for the students for so long. This was drawn. I said, yo, we have to trade consolidation. A lot of people could not sit on their hands with consolidation. You have to know when to play it. You have to know what to do. Take quick day trades. But understand this, once it breaks, hey, look, where is price going to go? The next trend line. Why? Because price likes trend lines. Why? Because this is structure also. Resistance, support. Resistance, support. Okay? I've seen people buy here. They saw this as a head and shoulders. Were they wrong? No, because this did look like a head and shoulders. This did look like a higher low. However, structure never broke. People were projecting long terms to here and up here. Were they wrong? No. It's good to have a few biases in the market, but not an early bias to where you're buying already and structure never broke. The trend line didn't get broken to the upside. So you can't buy long term here. You have to buy long term here, but you never got that. So you have to wait. This is about patience. It's about patience. I tell my students about this area here. Like, hey, you can take sales here. Where do you take sales to? The level. Price came up. This was the news. Okay, that was news. That was the interest rates. Guess what it did? From this area right here, this is obvious. Fundamentals, tight stop losses. That was obvious. Stop hunt. They stopped hunting people who got in right here. That was obvious. That was obvious. Okay. But if we continue down next week, I'm looking for the 104 level to be hit, okay? That's the area I'm looking for price to be hit. Now, price could come back up to meet 105, 500 because we have to retest it. Okay, now from the lower time from the hour, it has been retested, but there's still a possibility. But if it comes back down to this level, what could happen here is we get a bounce and we come back into these levels right here. That's a possibility for a quick counter trend trade. Or it could break and continue down to 102, 500 and then so on. I don't have those levels drawn just quite yet, but they will be. But this is it for this week, you all. And I want to say this, for those who I teach, for those who have been looking at the analysis, here's what I tell you all. If these are not your trading pairs, please don't try to take what I've said and go trade them as your own. You have to trade your own personal pairs, okay? For anyone watching this video and you'd like to know more about how I trade and how I teach, my information is down below. Especially my Telegram information is down below too. I do train people. I have one-on-one sessions with students and they've been doing phenomenal in those sessions. And from there, I help you create a plan, a trading plan. And also from there, I help put you on the right track. And I help you determine what pairs you need to be trading versus a lot of things that we go in on during the one-on-one sessions. And if you like a session with me, and if you like to know more, you all, please do not be afraid to contact me. Okay, don't be afraid to hit that link. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys in the next video.